Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I just stopped by to say, hey, how you doing? How are you? I thank you so much for joining today. If you don't know, my name is Mijine, and I welcome you to tonight's live. I'm not gonna be long. It's gonna be quick. You already know me. I don't talk long at all. but this live was inspired by my previous video, plus um, the infamous TikTok um, video that's going on with Risa. You know the name, child. So, so that's inspired me to just go live and talk a little bit about like what I would tell my younger self about life in general and relationships. Like, were there any red flags that I myself probably ignored that I probably would have my younger self kind of like do a double take or check the situation out a little more. And as you're coming in, like the video, thumbs the video up. And if you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the post notification bell so that you will be notified every time me and Janae post another video for your viewing pleasure. So on my previous video that just went out, nope, it went out last Thursday, I think. Yeah, because one came out today, but one went out last Thursday, and I did a story time. Um, and I was talking about, a situation, well, a relationship that I was in that I won't say it was like Risa Tisa, but we had I did state it in the video, we had some things in common. So what I would more than likely tell my younger self is that, girl, you're better than that. You are worth more than that. Um, when you see the flags, acknowledge the flag and go on. Stop. Don't stay. Acknowledge that there's a flag there. Acknowledge that there's a one, because the flags are raised or the flags are shown because it's, to me, it's like a warning, like, hey, cut it out. Don't continue. But yeah. So when you see the flags, acknowledge the red flag. Sometimes I think sometimes as my younger self, you figured, oh, I can help change him, or I can help fix it, or I can do something. No, child, no. Go on, move on, and let's get to the next situation. But so what I talked about was that I was dating someone, and there were quite a few instances where it shouldn't have lasted as long. It should not have lasted as long as it lasted. Um, but being young, I would say for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but being in my early 20s, I think I was probably 20, about to turn 21, you kind of figure like, oh, this is what it is, and this is that, and whatever else have you. Hold on, let me turn this down because I don't want this to interrupt. Okay. So you kind of figure, oh, they love me, and I'm having fun, and no, child, I should have been gone. But you stay around, you stick around, cause you trying to get into your adulthood, your womanhood, or whatever. And one thing that I noticed that Risa Tisha stated, was that she thought it was her time. She thought it was, this was something that was going to be true, and all of that. Um, at that age, I didn't think it was my time per se. Because hello, Mingle with Brown. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Um, I won't necessarily say I thought it was my time. It's just that I was young and being just, oh, I got a boyfriend. And I would tell myself, girl, you were so much better than that. Like, and I don't want to necessarily just play the person out per se, but I would say this. The person was 13 years older than I was, or I believe they're still alive. So they're 13 years older than I am. So at the time, if I'm 21, I think he was like 33. Girl, I don't know nothing about nothing. This a whole grown man done lived his life. He heading into like something else. He's like totally in another dimension, another world. I just turned 21. So what I would have told the me now would have told the me then, girl, no. Stop. Pump your brakes. This ain't what you want. So I just think that a lot of times our younger selves, again, I can't speak for everybody, I'm gonna speak for me. My younger self was in situations that right, right, Brown. I was 21. He was like 33. So you already kind of, I can see it now. I couldn't see it then. You could already kind of see where that relationship was heading anyway. And of course, the more my mother was like, Mia, I don't really, the more I was like, but my, maybe she could see it. I couldn't see it. But now looking back, I'm like, girl, what was you, what were you doing? And so I'm going to reiterate the story that I told on my previous vlog, but I don't want to have to retell it. So I'll wait a little while longer into the live. But it's some things that I'd sit back now and I think about what I went through in that particular relationship, and you go, why, Mia? Why would you even allow it to? I believe we dated for like almost 3 years, which isn't a long time, but it's long enough. Too long. Um, because it was some stuff that I really be like, girl, you really did, you really went through that, or you really accepted that. Like I remember this one time, he dropped me off at work. Hey, Miss Mariah, girl, welcome. I remember he took my car. Well, he didn't take my car. He borrowed my car, and he dropped me off at work. And when he picked me up from work, I was like, "Who was in the car?" And he was like, "What you like?" And then he played the, "What are you talking about?" I said, I smell perfume on the seatbelt. Oh, I had to take so and so to the in my car. But of course, the Mia then, I wasn't as talkative as I am now. I'm not really that talkative now, but I speak more now than I did back then. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay. Now it would have been a whole problem. I would have scratched your eyes out. We would have been fighting. I probably would have been locked up. I probably ran you over with my car. Like, so I think that my younger exactly. My younger self took a lot than I would take now. Like I would definitely sit down with the 20-year-old Mia and be like, girl, no. He not the one. Move on. Stop playing. Cause he ain't no. He playing you. And you don't know that you really well, you know what? No, I don't think I realized that it was just not right until later on. I don't know what it was. I don't know why I stayed as long as I stayed. Same here. I don't vote in cars with them. Girl, right. Like, I mean, a whole just, I was a whole just nut. That's the only way I could put it. Because you turn up, well, I should say, I turned a blind eye to a lot of stuff that you be like, sis, ain't no way. Try exactly. Trying to give him a chance, trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Oh, it's gonna work out and it's gonna, we gonna be no. Absolutely not. Not gonna happen. Not at all. And he was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get married. We're gonna move down south. What? Sir, I can't trust you here in New Jersey. How am I trust you in North Carolina? Like, stop. Let me out. I want off the ride. I want off this ride because this is not fun. So I thankfully I eventually, was just like, yeah, we can't do this no more. But it was so many different. I think it took me too long to really sever the relationship. And for like the last maybe 9 months of the relationship, I wasn't. By then, I was like, okay, yeah, it's enough of this. But I didn't want to hurt his feelings, so I didn't know how to. Now I'd be like, okay, this is over, this is done. But then I was like, oh, I don't want to hurt his feelings. Oh, this is gonna be so sad, girl. If you don't let that man go on about his business, because he really not. He not doing it right. He's just not the right person. He's not your person. And that's what I had to realize, that he wasn't my person. So, I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of times as younger people, we try to force situations because we just don't want to be lonely or be by ourselves, or our friends have a boyfriend, or this one has a boyfriend, and this, that, and the third. So I don't want to be by myself. And I said in the video, and not that I like to call people nobodies, but we'll rather be with a nobody than to be with nobody. So I think that was why I'm not even gonna say I think. I know that was a hard lesson for me to learn, but I did learn that lesson. And then I was just like, I'd rather be. Hey Amber, how are you? Thank you for joining the live. But I was like, I would rather be by myself than to be with you, because I mean, being with you is like pointless. But I'm gonna go back to the story that I did tell on the video. So yes, we were we were on the train to take his son back to his mom's house, to my ex-boyfriend's mother's house, and we got into an argument. I don't know, to this day, I don't know what we argued about. I don't even know what the problem was. Only thing on my mind that I can think now is that he really wanted to go back home. Maybe he had somebody else. I don't know. Whatever. But hey Queen, how are you? Thank you for joining the live. Um, yes, happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. But this Negro got off the train and let the train pull off with me and his son on the train. And like, when I think about it now, I still think about it and I laugh, because I'm like, this, like, you really left me with a whole child on the train. Thankfully, he was old enough to know where we were going. I knew how to get to his grandmother's house, but thankfully he was old enough to know what was going on. But I was like, I can't leave this kid on the train, because I could have got off at the next stop, because he's not my kid. But I felt bad as a person, like, to leave this kid on a train. So I was like, okay, well, let me at least get him to his grandmother's house. So I did get him to the grandmother's house, but like I said on the video, I didn't have enough money to get back to the train station. So the grandmother's brother took me to the train station. Thank you, guys. The grandmother's brother took me to the train station, but I didn't know that man. I had no idea who that man was. That man could have took me anywhere, and I could have been a missing person. Like well, I'm not leaving nobody kids on the train. What happened was my ex boyfriend left me on the train with his son because we got into an argument. He was mad. He got off the train. I'm thinking he getting off the train at the stop just to cool off because we were like really going back and forth. But he got off the train because he was going back home. Wait a minute. Like, this your kid. If anybody should have got off the train, should have been me. But yeah, he got off and he left me on the train with his son. And I didn't have to, but I took him to his grandmother's house because to me that was the right thing to do. Your father a whole jerk, but in all reality, I would have felt bad leaving him there because I don't know if he had enough money to get from the train station to his grandmother's house. So we got to the grandmother's house. The grandmother's brother took me back to the train station, but what I'm like, I didn't know him and he didn't know me. That man could have took me anywhere. I could have been on the milk cart and I could have been that person. Have you seen? It's kind of funny now, but it wasn't funny then. Like, have you seen her? Like, come on. Like, who does that? Like, this is. Amber, I'm so serious. I could have been that little. I mean, I was 20 or 21, but I don't know. I probably would have. I don't know if they would have put me on the milk carton because I was over 18, but they would have had me somewhere. I would have been a missing. I could have been a missing person. Like, you really just out here just doing stupid stuff. So thankfully, he got me back to the train station. I don't even know the man's name. That's how much I didn't know him. So he got me back to the train station. I already had my round trip ticket, and I got back to where I lived. But like the me now, when I got to your house, it would have been a big fight. I'd have packed myself and we'd have been gone. I would have been gone. But I stayed like another maybe year and a half with him. Why? I don't know. Crazy, young, just there was no excuse or no reason for me to. Like, I actually moved out of my mom's house, which Amber and Queen, y'all already, being a PK kid, you moved out your mom's house and your boyfriend lived downstairs, and it was already a whole lot. So that was already a problem. But I moved out because I was having conflict with my stepsister. So it was just, I was like, well, I'm gonna move out and go with them because I'm having problems over here, which I just ran into more problems. So I ended up I didn't stay there long, thankfully, but I stayed in the relationship too long. Like, it was absolutely positively crazy. I don't know. Well, Queen, I mean, you understand what I'm saying. So, I mean, that was already like a problem on top of a problem. So, but it was like really crazy. And then he was like, "Oh, I can't remember if it was before or after that he asked me to marry him." And I was like, "Okay. Okay. Are you crazy?" Like, Mia, what were you doing? What were you thinking? I wasn't. I- and that's only one story. This is only one part of a story, girl. Mm-mm. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm quite sure you doing. I know you understand. So I don't remember if it was. I don't remember if that came before or if that came after. He asked me to marry him, and I was just like, okay. Are you, Mia? Get it together, girl. Believe me, you're not gonna marry him. Like, So I sometimes wish I could go back to that girl and be like, stop, get out, get off the ride. This because he just taking you in circles. This ain't nothing but a merry-go-round. Because you ain't going nowhere. It's not productive. This is a merry-go-round at this point. You should be dizzy. Take off your seatbelt, stand up, and get off. So yeah. Yeah. He was like, yeah, we're gonna get married. We're gonna move to North Carolina. What? No, we're not. Like, you think you're gonna take me from New Jersey to North Carolina and I have no family members down there? You smoking a pipe. Because I'm not doing it. No. Now that's one thing I stood on. I was like, okay, yeah. No matter how bad it was for me at home, I knew I wasn't gonna move to North Carolina with him. That was just completely out of the question. But I mean, I went through a lot. I, I can't say it that way. I have a lot of stories with him that raised a lot of questions and raised a lot of like red flags that I should have stopped like after month 3, but I didn't. Girl, now I mean I was going through some stuff at home and some stuff at church, but I knew I wasn't doing it. I knew that wasn't going to be my portion. I wasn't doing that. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not moving out of state. Yeah, you crazy here in state. I know you're gonna be even crazier out of state. So yeah, like I don't yeah no, and I believe that it was. I could say for me, I was running from one hurt and I just ran into another hurt. Like it was just yeah, it wasn't meshing, it wasn't gelling, it wasn't right. And I did at the time I couldn't see it because it was like, well, I'm being hurt over here, or I'm hurt if I stay here, so let me go over here. Girl, he hurting you too. You just can't see that he hurting you. Like it was all child. It was red flags. It was fireworks. It was a whole bonfire. But I couldn't see it. I can see it now, of course, but I couldn't see it then. Right. Yeah, he was like a whole nother state. Not gonna happen. Girl, he couldn't have moved me out of town. So I knew I wasn't moving out of state. So and I was just like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. And I already had the stance that I didn't want to um date anyone. Girl, you saw clearly, I can see clearly now. Cause I mean, like I don't know I can't even tell you what it was. Because it wasn't, and I don't want to sound materialistic. But it wasn't like you were financially providing any initiative. Like, some people can buy you. So you stay because, oh, well, they're paying for this, or he buying that, or they doing this. Yes, he did work. He worked. But it wasn't like he was financially supporting me. There really wasn't a reason to stay as long as I stayed. But I stayed, which is unbelievable, but believable at the same time. Because at 20, I think I was 22, 21. I believe by that time I turned 21. At 21, you don't really know what you want. You don't really know what you're doing. You just know that, oh, okay, this is cool. I can rock with this for a little bit. No, you can't. Girl, get out of there. But like I was saying, I had already said I didn't want to date anyone with children. And he said he had 2 sons, but I only met the one son. I think the other son lived with his mother out of state somewhere. I don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't question it. But I met the one son, and the one son, well, he was really cool. He was good. He was very respectful. Um, I think by the time I met the son, he was maybe 12 or 13. I'm 21. I'm not that much older than your son. Right? Don't we swear, oh yeah, that's my person. Girl, that was not my person. I was just like, I'm 21, your son's like 13. We're not, how am I be his stepmom? Girl, bye. That's not gonna work. But you just be trying to force puzzle pieces together, and it's the puzzle steady falling apart. You steady trying to mesh it together. It's not working. It's not working. Clearly, this is not a match. Your swipe right, left. I don't know. I've never swiped on any of them things, but swipe whichever way you got to swipe to move them out the way. Swipe it, because clearly this is not working. This is not what's supposed to be. Um. So yeah. So he had a child, and I was just like, okay, okay. That was already something that I didn't really want, but I was like, okay. But I should have definitely swiped whichever way. Whichever way it went, I should have swiped it. But it did, I will say it taught me a lesson. It taught me, I learned from it. I truly learned from it. Girl, I was finna be nosy, but when I started, okay, swipe, swiper, no swipey. Be nosy, Amber. That's fine. When I started to date my husband, he had a child. He thought, oh wow, really? Yeah, I was just like, but then like I said, you get in there and you be like, oh, okay, I could do this. I couldn't do that. I couldn't, because some of my foundational rules and just principles, he was like, oh no, he could do no. See, that's already a problem. And then he had a I'm gonna look real crazy. So he had an ex girlfriend that didn't live too far, which also was like another fire brigade bonfire that should have gone off, that didn't. And I was just like, oh, I got, when I say I have stories for days about this relationship, I have stories for days. And yes, I should have swiped her, no swipe. Like I should have swiped. I should have. Yeah, big eye. Exactly. Exactly. It was, yeah. It was real crazy. It was real crazy because it felt like I was, how do I say, it felt like I was an intruder into an already established friendship circle, because these friends had been friends for a long time and they were couples. But then he broke up with his friend, but his ex-friend was still friends with the others. It was a whole, I'm telling, oh my gosh. When I think about it, I'm like, girl, like what? Yeah. So it felt like I was an intruder within this circle that I got linked up with, because they were like, "Oh, he like you. He want to date you." And at first I was like, "I don't want to date him. I don't really like him." And it was right. These men, correct. And I was like, "I don't want to, So they was like, "No, girl, he like you for real." And so we obviously started talk. We went on a date, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Me being young and dumb, like I so wish I could talk to that girl, because I could definitely tell her, like, you ran from hurt into hurt. Like, you might as well just be home and have your little feelings hurt, deal with that, because this over here ain't what you want. But unfortunately, is what I. But so I ended up obviously dating him, and he put me out of darkness. it, Queen. Sing it. Exactly. Oh, Lordy is right, Amber. It was I mean, I can't even begin to describe how much of a mess it was. Like it was messy. I'm talking just a whole lot of mess. And that's why I said, like, within the first 3 weeks, I should have been like, nah, it's not gonna work. But I was like, oh, I could give it a chance, or we could probably work it out, or we could, it wasn't working. It wasn't working. No matter how no, mm-mm. It wasn't working at all. Like I remember going to his mother's house. I don't even know why we went there. We went there for somebody was having a party or something, and so we went there, and he introduced me, to his mom, to his sister, and everybody not everybody that was there, but just to the, I guess, family, some of his family members. So this one lady was there, and she was like, "Oh, is this so and so?" Which was the ex girlfriend, and they were like, "No, no, no, this is the new girlfriend." She just can't work it. He sure enough can't, and I did let him. I let him work it out because he worked it out so good. He worked him right out my life, and and so they was like, no, this is Mia, this is oh, I almost said his name. This is so and so's, girlfriend or whatever. So then the sister was like, Mia, you know, they didn't mean any disrespect. It's just that the last time that they saw him, he was still with her. And I was like, okay, no problem, whatever. But I totally don't look like the lady. I like, so I don't know if you're either blind or you just being stupid. Like, but anyway, so yeah, I mean, it was a lot of going on, and that relationship, it. What happened was I was gonna break up with him, and he happened to get hit by a car. So then I felt bad because he got hit by a car. Why am I laughing? Then I felt bad because he got hit by a car. So I prolonged the relationship, like I think by maybe 4 or 5 months. But yeah, it was. Yeah, so I prolonged the relationship a little bit longer than I should have, only because I felt bad. Like I was like, man, like how do you like he a whole crippled person? Like he got hit bad, he got injured really really bad. So I was like, it gets better and better. Exactly. He was injured bad. Like he had like rods and screws and just it was, yeah. So I was just like, oh man, like I can't break it. Like that's so mean. But now looking back, I'd have been the Mia now would have like, I'm so sorry you got hit. I'm so sorry you hurt. But prior to this, prior to this almost near tragedy, I wanted to break up. So I'm gonna break up with you right now. I wish you Godspeed, but we're not going. This not gonna work. But I mean, it lasted like another, I think, 5 or 6 months after that, and and it was definitely a crazy ride. I haven't told everything, but it was definitely a crazy ride. So I would definitely tell my younger self, like, don't even bother. But sometimes I would definitely tell myself don't not to bother because it's not what I wanted. But it gave me an experience that I would never forget. Like I did learn some lessons. I learned some lessons from it. But I sometimes I feel like, we do learn lessons from different situations, but do we really have to go down certain roads? Can't we just take other people's experiences and learn from them? I don't know. So, but yeah, and the way I justified moving into the place that I moved into, it was like, my room is upstairs. He lived downstairs in the basement. So, you know, My mother is far from stupid. Everybody else is far from dumb. My room, yes, my room was upstairs, but where did I spend the majority of my time? In the basement. So, yeah, it was, it wasn't, no, it wasn't what I wanted. Well, no, it wasn't what I wanted. It is what I accepted. I'll say that. It's not what I wanted, and it's not what I deserved, but I accepted it. Being crazy, being young, just rather. I settled for something that I shouldn't have settled for, and I don't. Hopefully, I don't know if he goes. Hopefully, he don't follow me or nothing. But if he do, I mean, it is what it is. Sorry, sir. But I learned to know my worth and to value myself, because in my mind, like I stated, my stepsister and I didn't have a good relationship. So I figured if I leave my house, I could leave that problem there. But I moved into another house and just had, even greater problems, which it didn't even out. Like there was no level or neutral ground. Nothing worked out. Nothing was good. So yeah. So I would definitely tell my younger self, you are so much better than that. Don't settle for the okey dokes. Don't settle for the sweet nothings, because it truly was empty promises. Even though he didn't promise me anything, but it was empty. It had no weight, no merit, because your actions didn't show what your words were saying. Like, your words said you love me, but your actions showed something totally different. So yeah, I got the heck up out of there, and I didn't. Yeah, I'm gonna say I got up out of that relationship. So that's why I think the Risa Tisa's story resonates slightly with me. Now, he ain't promised to buy me no house and no cars and all that other. He didn't tell me he had a whole bunch of stuff, but we had some things in common. Like, you kind of feel like, oh, I want to be with this person, or oh, this person really, he loved me. No, he might be infatuated with you. He might really like you a lot, but love, no. And yeah, no, I can't even try to justify or try to fit. He ain't love me. I'm quite sure he liked me a lot, but I can't truly say that he loved me. And I can't say that I loved him. I just, we were dating. We dated. Yeah. That's because I just think that, like I stated before, love comes with some action, and action will hold you together. Action's not going to actually hurt you. They're not going to hurt. Love doesn't, it's not going to hurt you. Love's not going to put you in a frame of mind to make you second guess or guess, are you doing this or are you doing that? And what are you doing when I'm not there? I don't have time to worry about that. I don't have time to worry about if you're talking to somebody else while I'm at work, or when you're at work, what are you doing? No, I don't have that kind of energy, and I don't have that kind of time. Not the me now. The me then, I was just like, okay. First of all, when I smell perfume on my seatbelt in my car, no, that's a hard stop. Pause. Please hold. This we cannot continue. Thank you for the few months that we've been together. It was a nice time, I guess. And this is where I get out. Or, well, actually, this is where you get out, because it's my car. Oh gosh. Oh, no problem, Queen. No problem. Like, I just, yeah, it was a whole lot of just stuff. So I think I lived there at the house maybe 4 months, and I was like, yeah, no, I'll just rather go back. I'll go back home and deal with what I'm dealing with at home with my family, because y'all This whole situation right here, it's not working. No, it's not working. And so, like the people that were there kind of caught. They were like, oh well, you don't know how to. I forgot how they really. I didn't. Well, they worded it like I wasn't well versed in streets. No, I'm not. I know nothing about running the street and nothing against those that had to come up that way, but I don't know anything about that. He came out of a place where I guess that was his. I won't even say his way of life because his mom wasn't that type of lady. But he had a little rough. He had it a little hard. I didn't grow up that way. Here I am, and then you know what? And I think it's people know they can. I think people can spot a church girl or a church person like a mile away. They know when you are um different. That's the only way I could probably kind of put it. They know when you're different, and I believe they know who they can play what on. Because you're not running that same game on everybody. You're not telling these same sweet nothings to everybody. And then my question is, if you are 13 years older, what do you have in common with me? I'm 20. I ask those questions now, of course. But at the time, I was like, oh my heat, whatever. My mother was livid. But I'm 21, you're 33. What do we have in common? Absolutely nothing. When I say absolute, and I mean absolutely nothing. Exactly, Amber. Exactly. They still smell the breast milk on our breath. Like I hadn't, I don't, I wasn't street. I didn't run the street. I didn't have street knowledge. I mean, like that just wasn't me. I wasn't that person. I grew up in a fairly quiet middle upper class. I won't even say upper class, like middle class neighborhood community. I didn't run the street. My father was a bishop. Well, my stepfather was a bishop. My mother was a first lady. I was in church on Tuesdays and Fridays and all day Sunday. So when was I gonna run? Like when did I have time to really like be out? That wasn't me. And I know that he knew that that wasn't me. So you figure, oh, I could kind of weave in and out and run. When I finally got a grip on this thing, I was like, yeah, no, I know I deserve better, and I believe that's why I stress to my goddaughter, that, mm-mm, you deserve better. You are better. Like you don't know, no, you don't know nothing about the street, so don't let them take you there. Like he was, yeah, I, yeah. It was crazy. It was definitely crazy. And the person that I am now, I say it a lot, and I know I've said it a lot in the live. The person that I am now, I'm not her that I was when I was 21. Like, my 21-year-old self was I was very, I'm shy now, but I was very shy then. I was an introvert. I didn't. Hey Chelsea, how are you? Thank you for joining the live. I was very much so an introvert. I didn't speak up for myself a lot, or I'm not even gonna say a lot. I'm gonna say at all. So the stuff that was done, the games that were played, the things that he did, girl, Quinta, you are not shy now. You may have been shy then, but you're not shy now. Like I remember like crazy memories are pop back up now. There was like when you walked into, hey Miss Debbie, how you doing? How are you? Amber, I don't. Nobody listen to Queen. She ain't shy now. She may have been shy then. Shyness now is out the window. I remember walking into the house, and you had to go downstairs to go to his part of the house. The house was so big that, it was like off in sections. So you had to go downstairs to go to his part of the house. And when you go downstairs, if you look straight, there was like a little living room area, and off to the living room was his bedroom. Well, when I got downstairs, this is why I said I think I was just trying to fit into an inner circle that was already formed, because they were already, their friendship with all of these couples were already made. So when I got down there, they were all down there, and his ex-girlfriend was there with her daughter and her granddaughter. So you walk so me, I was really timid and shy, like, and I just walked in, and you see what you see. Know that, no, they weren't doing anything, but it was just a simple fact that she was there. My thing is, if you supposed to be my boyfriend, why is your ex-girlfriend here? No, it's not your house, but it just don't look good. It just don't look nice. My thing is, sit outside until I get home. Or do something. It was real suspect looking. But at the time, I didn't say anything. I was just like, okay. That 21-year-old naive, like, just, okay. No. This 45-year-old now is like, what the listen, sis. Listen, bro. And I wouldn't even talk to her. Now, if it was me now, I would talk to him, because I'm in a relationship with you. I'm not in a relationship with her. So she doesn't owe me anything, even though she owe me respect. But in the simple fact that if you don't stop her, she gonna continue to be in your face. And I'm gonna continue to do what I'm doing. But I was just like, okay, all right. And like nobody, I don't know, it was real weird. It was real weird. So that 21-year-old girl was just, I don't know. She was trying to find herself, literally. Like, it was crazy. It was definitely crazy. I'm exactly, Chelsea. My 20s was, I would say, from like 19 to 22 was absolutely positively bananas. It's the least I can. It was bananas. Um, because I think by the time I turned 25-ish, 26 is when I met favorite friend and we started dating. But I was single for 2 years prior to me meeting him. Thank you, Mariah. Don't forget to like the live, guys. But it was absolutely bananas. Like, I wish I could really travel back in time, because I know that, well, yeah, I know she was hurt. She being me was hurt. So you accepted, or I accepted things that most people wouldn't have accepted. Most people would have been like, okay, this is a red flag. This is not going to happen. Or they would have spoke up and been like, yeah, we're not doing this. But the hurt me, the shy me, the introvert me was just like, okay. Okay, for what? Why are you accepting this? Why are you allowing them? And I say them because if you were my friend, because it was other people there that were my friend, if you were my friend, then you wouldn't have allowed this to happen in my absence. Now, people going to do what people going to do, and I already know that. But if you're my friend, yo, Mia, listen, this is what's going on. Or you might want to look out for this because this is happening. I can't. I can't. You are absolutely right, Amber. You are absolutely right. Because it was some, I mean, a whole lot of during those 2 years, it was a whole lot of stuff. And it was just absolutely, in the words of Kesha, it was crazy town. Absolute crazy town. And Yeah. So I would definitely, oh my gosh, if I could just sit down with her and be like, girl, I know you hurt, but you deserve better than this. But like Amber said, the experiences that I did go through was for me to learn and to appreciate or to appreciate the uh the marriage and the relationship that I have now with favorite friend. Like when I say the complete opposite, I mean like not there. It's not even, girl. They're not even on the same. Out. No, there's no words for it. It's the complete opposite. It is absolutely a joy to be married now. Well, now that I'm married, it's an absolute joy. I could never. And the funny thing is, when he asked, when not favorite friend, but when the ex boyfriend asked me to marry him, I was just like, I was excited about the ring. I wasn't excited so much about being married to him. I was just like, oh my God, this ring is so pretty, and it was a beautiful ring. So I was like, oh yeah, okay. But in my mind, I was like, I'm not marrying him. So what you saying okay for a girl? What did you accept it for? Why would you say yes to somebody that you know that you can't see yourself being your forever person? Queen girl, we absolutely thank God for favorite friend. Hey Bethany, how are you? Welcome to the live. I absolutely positively thank God for favorite friend. I'm not going to cry on this live. That's not what I'm here to do. But I absolutely positively thank God for favorite friend because he came in my life at a time where I was still trying to figure out me, but I was so much more healed than I was prior. If he would have came earlier, yeah, it would have been a hot mess. If favorite friend would have came earlier, it would have been a hot mess. That's how I know that God does everything in perfect timing and perfect will. Like he knew when I needed to meet him, and he knew when he needed to meet me. Because I could have messed him up from the previous relationship because yeah, my head was just not. In the words of my aunt, I wasn't in the best headspace because by that time I was pissed, I was mad, I was upset, I was church hurt, I was family hurt, I was just hurt. So he brought favorite friend in my life in a time where I was already healed from that, and I was able to accept him, and he was able to accept me. But yeah, it was an absolute blast. No need to bring the tissues, but right, I'm not crying. I stopped myself. I stopped myself because I'm not crying on Facebook, Lord. I'm not crying on YouTube. Yes, he is. Girl, I didn't even get to the church hurt part. I didn't even I left. I kind of skimmed over that. I skimmed over that, and I talked about the ex boyfriend. But I don't even know if this is a live for the church hurt part, because that within itself is a whole nother, yeah. That's a whole. I think that may be a whole nother life. Because I will say this: being a pastor's kid or pastor's step kid. Well, we didn't. It wasn't step. He was my dad, even though my biological father is still alive and I love him and he's great. It took now that relationship too. It took a little bit because I'm like, hey, dad, to my bio dad, like, okay, I'm here. But anyway, so being that my mother married a pastor, I was 11, about to turn 12. So I got thrown into, um, you kind of got thrown into that PK status thing that I don't understand why that I don't understand why they put that kind of pressure on children. on people in general. I mean, I'm not sure as to who put that or who established that, but that's something that needs to be broken because children are children, regardless if your mother and father is the pastor, the missionary, the evangelist. No matter what status your parents hold or what title your parents hold, children are children. I don't care if you're the sister or you just go to church and your kid is wild. You got a wild kid. But if you're the pastor's kid and you're wild, you are just Satan's spawn. Like, but you got two wild kids. Why do they get a pass and they don't get a pass? So when I was 11, you kind of got thrown into this already kind of mold that you're supposed to be this person here, and like now you have to walk around on eggshells, or you have to walk around and be this person that I'm not gonna say this person that you're not, but you have to. I don't know. I wasn't. I would say I wasn't ready for that. And then in building that resistance to that, I gained a stepsister who she was the baby because she had an older brother. She was the baby, and I was my mother's only child. So now you're trying to blend two families with two teenagers. Well, I think she's 4 years, 3 or 4 years older than me. So now you're trying to blend this and be this perfect church kid, and now your mother's the first lady of the church. Like it was a whole lot. Um, exactly. So it was like, oh my gosh, Mia, you can't mess up. What do you mean? Like I haven't even done anything. I'm only 12. I'm only 12. What do you like? I have no idea. I don't know what you're saying. I'm 12 years old. Mess up how? Hey Shay, how you doing? Welcome to the live. I'm 12. What do you mean? I'm in, what am I in? Seventh grade, eighth grade? Like seventh grade. I'm in seventh grade. What are you talking about? So now if if you looking at a boyfriend, oh, you fast. If you doing this, oh, well, they may be a little, her and that girl too close. What do you like? You take their head. Well, mine. I could talk about myself. You make it like this. You make this whirlwind of a situation, and you cause them to just almost like bust. What are you trying to prove? What do you want us to do? What do you want us to be? Who are you trying to make us that you aren't? As grown people, what are you doing that you're trying to compare to myself? I'm a 12-year-old kid trying to navigate life, period. And then I gained a stepfather and I gained a stepsister and I gained a whole nother, dynamics that I don't understand what's going on. Queen doing nothing is an understatement. When I say nothing, I mean nothing. And what my I will say this, my stepfather was a great person. He was a great provider, an awesome pastor. And I tell my husband this a lot because he was a stepchild, but his stepfather wasn't a pastor. So I told him, I said the difference is when he was my pastor before he was my stepfather. So I still held him to the regard of this is the pastor of my church. So when I went home, I didn't know how to separate the pastor from my stepdad. Like he was, in my eyes, he was always the pastor. So I didn't know how to pull apart church from home. And to an extent, I don't think the family knew how to pull apart and separate church life from family life. So it was real for me. I'm gonna talk about me. It was a real hard adjustment. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I'm not a church baby and I had no desire. I completely I understand. I understand, Bethany. I have been in church all of my life. My mother joined the church that I'm in now. She joined that church when I was 2 years old. And we have been there ever since. And I absolutely, positively love my church. Um, but I will say the church world in general, including my church, has that stigma that the pastor's kids have to be, or they are held to a higher standard than some adults or some other children. And I think that that's a bad stigma. Like, yes, I understand that, if the pastor, whether it's a man or a woman, if you're up telling the children that they shouldn't smoke, no, your kids shouldn't smoke. However, if your children decide to go this way, why beat them up? Just know that you told them what was right and what was wrong, and they chose to go left. But why is it that, oh my God, oh, your kids are, oh, they're doomed. There's no help for your kids. There's no help for your kids. That's not fair. That's not a fair weight to put on any child, I would say. And yeah, so it was a lot. It was a lot. So I was running from that. My house, between me and my stepsister, we didn't get along for a long time. Because, and I try to see it from her point of view. I guess it was that me and my mother were moving into your space or to your house, and now you have to share, and now you have to, it's no longer just you and your dad. It's you, your dad, your stepmother, and your step. So it was like, I'm guessing it was a whirlwind of an adjustment for her as well. So in my mind, I was just running and running. I was just running, and I ran into who I ran into, and it was, yeah, he was just like, I would say he was a placeholder, and I don't want to say that's, to me that sounds kind of cruel. That's I don't want to say that way, but I ran into hurt running from hurt. That's the only way I can explain it. When they backslide, you're supposed to pray. Exactly, Bethany. Exactly, and a lot of people don't consider themselves when other people may fall away or may stumble or may have, you know, mishaps. The folk want PK kids to go before the church, and right. Exactly, Amber. Exactly. Like I remember so many. Well, not so many, but two. I think two young ladies I can remember had to go before the church or stand up and say, because they had gotten pregnant. Well, they didn't get pregnant by themselves. Like, I don't ever remember a guy in my church standing up saying, "I'm sorry because I got so and so pregnant." It was only the two girls, and one girl was like, I'm not doing this." She got pregnant, but she's like, "I'm not doing it." So, but I'm like, I don't know any guys who ever stood up and was like, "I'm sorry, I got so and so pregnant." It was so like, I mean, my church, that we don't do that anymore, which I don't think any church should ever do that. Like, I get, I don't know, we don't do that. So I'm just like, they didn't have this baby by themselves, or they didn't conceive this baby by themselves. So why are they the only ones standing up saying, "This is what happened to me"? Or, well, they don't tell the story, but that, I'm sorry, I'm expecting, or whatever. I don't even remember what the wording was. But now I'm girl, I remember that too, and we couldn't even talk to them anymore. Like, shut up, for real. Y'all couldn't talk to them. Shut up, Shay. I was scared when I got pregnant. I thought I was gonna girl, girl, I'm telling you, it's really, oh, oh my goodness. Like that has to be such pressure. I mean, like it's unbelievable. My thing is, okay, they made a mistake. The baby is gonna come whether you want the baby to come or not. We're gonna love on this child. We're gonna restore the parents. We're gonna love on the parents. Like that's just I don't that's who I am as a person. That's my standpoint. I'm not saying, oh, go out there and have sex on people. But what I am saying is if it happened, it happened. We're gonna love you. We're gonna pray for you. We're gonna cover you. We're gonna encourage you. I mean, like, come on. I was glad. I'm glad we're doing better at the church. Right. Exactly. That is so true, Amber. That is so true. Like as a collective body, I'm glad that we have moved away from, excuse me, making them get up to do that, because to me that was so humiliating. Like, because my thing is this: they happen to have intercourse and conceive a child, but nobody's saying, I'm saying, please forgive me because I lied on sister so and so. Please forgive me because I'm sleeping with brother John. Like nobody. They only, yeah, that was real. I'm glad that that's no longer a thing. I'm so glad that's no longer a thing, because I mean, if you doing once, and I'm not a preacher, and I'm not here to preach, but if you're doing one sin, you guilty of everything. Just because you didn't get pregnant, but you lying, it's still bad. Just I mean, like it's one is not worse than the other. So I'm glad they no longer make you stand up in front of church and do that. Wow, that's deep. Never heard of that. Really? Yeah, it was unfortunate, but I'm glad that the church overall has gotten away from that, and we are starting to restore more. We're starting to cover more in the terms of letting them know that, you know what, okay, we understand that you fell, but we cover you in love. We're praying for you. We're restoring you, and you can make it. It was a mistake. You know, you slipped, you fell. You were tempted. Whatever it was, it doesn't even have to be integral. It could be whatever. But we got you. We love you. Don't stop coming to church. We're gonna keep praying for you. We're gonna keep lifting you up. And that's to me, that's what it's about. Like, I know that the generation that I grew up, well, the older people that grew up with me, I understand. I kind of partially understand what they were trying to do, but to me, maybe the execution of it wasn't well thought. Like I get that they were trying to make you like, okay, I'm gonna, yeah, I don't want to touch it because I don't really know. But all I know is I'm glad that we have moved from that, and that the restoration part is more exposed and open. The covering one another is more viewed. You can see it more, because before you was just like, I didn't know. LaQuinta said that they couldn't, but not talking to somebody is not gonna change the fact that they're expecting. Guess what? You don't talk to me, I'm still gonna have a baby. I'm just gonna be a lonely person. I had to like what? And that's the worst to me, in my opinion. That's the worst time to leave a person alone, is when they already feel bad and when they've already fallen. Like that's the time when they need you to. I'm not saying tell them that what they did was awesome and great and yay, but what I am telling them is that, okay, you kind of slipped up in this area, but we got you. We gonna get through this together. We're gonna band together in sisterly love and brotherly love, or if it was a brother, however they handle it over there. But because I'm a female, it's gonna be sisterly love, and we're gonna walk you through this together. Like that that part is what I think um we need more of. We need to I'm a you If y'all see me fall, if I fell, the last thing I want y'all to do is not talk to me. What I would want you to do is be like, Mia, you all right? You fell or you whatever it was. We're gonna band together. We're gonna pray for you. We're gonna get you up, and we're gonna walk this thing out together. I missed some comments, so I'm gonna go back. I'm so glad we moved away from that too, Queen. Child, they always right. There is no rate on sin. If I shot you and I go to jail because I shot you, me being a murderer is no worse than you lying. Like being bad is being like it's no scale. We don't have a sin scale. Oh, that's like a 1. Man, your sin is like a 5. No, it's all the same thing. Exactly. Being God help me. Being gluttonous is a sin. Overeating is a sin. Help me, Jesus. I had to make peace with the fact that humans are walking. Right. Right, Chelsea. We all gotta walk it out for ourselves. Exactly. No one could put right. Right. Yes, we can. Right. No one is on a pedestal. No one is. But yeah, so I definitely ran from church hurt, home hurt, into relationship hurt. It was just like a triangle, basically. One just hurt, and hurt was on each angle. So it was definitely a learning experience. Um, and I just yeah, if I could go back to that younger girl, and I know that I learned from it, but I still would give her a voice because at times I felt like I didn't have a voice. And I think that's what made me suppress a lot of my feelings and a lot of things that I wanted to say, but I wouldn't say because I didn't think anyone was listening. I didn't think anyone cared. And for a long time, the amazing thing is, I didn't know that I was depressed and oppressed. I was just like, okay, if they said it was going to be this, okay. I just kind of went along with it. Just, all right, it's that. Okay. Now it's like, why? Why we do why we doing that? Why are they saying that? What? So now I'm a little more boisterous, not as boisterous as I probably could be, but I do speak up a lot more now than I did then. Then you couldn't get me to hardly say anything. So I think that's why the relationship I was in went the way it went because I wasn't very boisterous. I wasn't like I remember an instance where he made me very upset. No, he ain't make me upset. I was mad. He made me mad about something. I don't even know. So my cousin was like, take everything on his dresser and swipe it on the floor. And I was like, I can't do that. She was like, just take it all and swipe it. This is how crazy I am. Instead of me swiping the stuff on the floor, I just took all. God, stupid. I just took all this stuff and I laid it down on the side. Instead of the lotion being standing there, I just laid it down. Girl, just swipe the dresser. Because you're pissed, swipe the dresser. But me and myself, I don't want to hurt his feelings. Hurt his feelings? He hurts your feelings. And I know you're not supposed to do tit for tat. I understand that. But at that point in time, I was pissed. But instead of me expressing my pissness, I was just like, it's okay. It's not okay. And that's one thing I'm glad that this generation coming up, child back in the day, the whole like now I'm flipping dressers. But then I was like, oh, I don't no, that's he's gonna be hurt. Who cares? And not that I'm, but now, the me now, I would have flipped the dresser. I would have flipped the dresser. The TV would have been on the floor. Everything, that room would have been tore up. But the girl then, I was just like, oh, no, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. Obviously, my mind will still be passive and naive. Now I'm real. Everything is gone. Everything is gonna be messed up. Right? This me now, but the me and then, yeah. Right now I'm flipping to Mariah, but then I was just like, oh, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay to be hurt and not say that you're hurt. Like I have learned that there's a way to express that I'm hurt without flipping something. But if yeah, the me now, that stuff would have been flipped. Everything would have been flipped, upside down, inside out. You wouldn't have had a room. You wouldn't have had a room because it was just, yeah. So a lot of stuff I like the lady said on TikTok, you kind of turn a blind eye to because you're just like, no. It was red flags, it was bonfires, it was fireworks, like the fireworks at the end when they go boom, 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 and all of them going off. It wasn't like boom, no, they were all going off, and you just be like, oh, no, mm-mm. It was a grand finale almost every time something happened, but I just overlooked it. Like I was okay. It's no, it's not okay. But yeah. So my younger self, I would just definitely tell her, mm-mm. Get out the car, stop the ride, unbuckle your seatbelt, tell them the ride is over, get off the merry-go-round, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna end this right here. There's no need to press. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Cause this game is over. Yeah, like it. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing it. But I did learn some valuable lessons. I'm thankful for the lessons, and I'm thankful that, like I stated earlier, that I healed enough to welcome favorite friend and not carry that into this relationship. So yeah, I think. Oh wow, I've been talking for a long time. I had fun. I had fun. Of course, I was nervous to go live. At about 7:15, I was like, I think I'm gonna cancel in my mind. But I really wanted to go live to get this out because I think we all can definitely relate to some part of anybody's story, whether it's my story, her story, or your own story. And I think if we talk about it more, we could help the people the ones coming behind us, so they don't have to be as naive and as gullible and accept anything. You don't have to accept anything less than what you are worth. You are valued higher. If you're not coming high, and I'm not saying materialistic stuff. I'm just talking about with the best intentions, with goals and aspirations. If you don't have any of that, don't waste your time. Because now monetary stuff that'll come, but at least some morals, some goals, some aspirations, some dreams. You don't want to do nothing. Like I remember this one guy told this girl that he wanted to talk to, yeah, I work at this job and then I'm work there long enough just to collect so I can quit and collect unemployment. What? What? If you don't got my face, that is not, no, no. We're not even doing that. We're not doing that. Next was swipe right, whatever the swipe is. Swipe. I mean, they could be in your face talking and just swipe. Just know this is not net. No, this is not it. Not it at all. Absolutely, Mariah. Absolutely 100,000%. Exactly. I mean, just swipe because we're not gonna waste our time. for the ones that are coming behind us, or for those that aren't married. We're not wasting our time. It's no, we're not gonna do that. So yeah, far above. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You always so yes. Absolutely, Chelsea. Absolutely. And then I didn't know, as much as I went to church and as much as I knew my mom loved me and the Lord loved me, all that, I didn't know the value of Mia. Mia didn't know her own value. So Mia accepted what they gave her. Like, I didn't have many boyfriends, but I had enough to know that the ones I had wasn't, mm-mm, they weren't it. They weren't it by a long shot. I mean, far, far gone, far no. So yeah, I don't know if you worded it wrong or not, Mariah, but you in the book. You went there. I understand what you're saying. Eh, Bethany, girl, it does. It really does. And the funny thing is that you said that. I remember that that was me, auntie. I was taking anything. And my thing is, I'm gonna get back to Bethany. My thing was, well, I'm hurting here, so let me go over here, because what he presented wasn't presented as hurt at first. It was all, oh, okay, well, yeah, all right. It wasn't. It didn't look like hurt, and it didn't feel like hurt in the beginning. But after you get in that thing, you see that that is nothing but hurt wrapped up in a pretty box. So the only thing that was shining was the box. Well, you don't want the box. You want what's inside the box. But what was inside the box wasn't nothing but hurt. But I couldn't see that because all I saw was the box. Because I saw hurt here, and I knew I didn't want that. And he presented a box that was really pretty and all bowled up, and oh my gosh, okay. But when you take the top off the box, what's in the box is hurt. I didn't want that either. But I was so blinded by the box that you couldn't see that inside there was hurt. So, but Bethany, back to what you were saying. Yeah, it absolutely has to do, or goes back to dad. It does go back to dad. It really does. I don't think I didn't have a father figure coming up, but my mom definitely taught me in the church, etc. And I'm grateful for my, absolutely, absolutely, Mariah. That's what you. I didn't come. It doesn't come off as hurt in the beginning. It really doesn't. It's like, oh my gosh, I got a boyfriend. No, you got hurt. That's what you got. You got hurt. That's what it is. My mama told me she proposed some other times and explained that you don't have to accept anything that. Absolutely. Oh wow. Really? Okay. So my mother and my father, my mother and my bio dad, mama was wise, and I absolutely appreciate that. And the thing is, my mother had no idea. She, if she watched the live, then she'll know. But I kept a lot from her because she was, to me, in my mind, she was already getting it being a first lady. So I was like, I'm not even going to add this. But my mother and my father separated when I was 2, I think. When my mother started going to church, my dad was like, yeah, I'm out. And I don't mean to make it sound like it was, but he didn't want to go to church. My mother was like, I'm going to go to church. So he left when I was 2. Um, he wasn't around a lot. So I'm gonna get through this without crying. He wasn't around a lot, even though I knew where he was. He came around sparingly. Um, so it was just me and my mother, and I had uncles, but it's different, when you don't have a dad. But um, Yeah, dad said I'm out. So my to be honest, my apartment complex was we lived in an apartment complex. So my apartment complex was here. There was a highway, and across the highway, my dad lived in a house here. So I saw him not a lot. So then my mother got married to my stepfather. And my stepdad shut up, Mariah, with the tissues. I'm gonna be good. So my stepfather, I told my mother this a couple of weeks ago. I said my stepfather, he was a good man, but he pastored me and fathered my stepsister. So I got the pastor 24/7, but my stepsister got the pastor at church and dad at home. Even though I can never discredit my stepfather because he was a great, great man, but I don't think he knew how to be a stepdad. So you look for me, you look for something. So and then my dad, I think, was kind of upset with my mom for getting married, even though my father had a girlfriend whom he later married. But so it was real kind of like so but you grow up looking for like you look for that father figure. You look for something. You're trying to grasp at something. And right. Yes, exactly. So you start trying to look for something, and people don't understand what it is you're looking for because you don't really truly know what you're looking for. You just know you're looking for something. Um Shut up before you just know that you're looking for something. You don't know what it is completely. And I don't think some fathers know the impact that they have on their daughters. Like I know they normally go, fathers and sons but I don't think some of them really realize how much a girl needs her dad. And I don't know if my bio dad realized how much I needed him. And I don't think my stepdad realized how much I needed a father. So you kind of grow up with that feeling of being unwanted, even though my mother loves me and I know she loves me. But it's different when your dad loves you and you know that your dad loves you. So you don't have to open that glittery box with hurt in it because you already know what love is. And not to take away from my mother because she is, and will forever be the best mom ever. I tell you, first of all, I'm telling this stuff on this live that I haven't even told my mom. So if she's watching, hey mom. But like I listen, like Chelsea just said, her father was her first love. I have no idea what that is. Even though my father and I we communicate now, I'm 45, and not that we can't build that relationship, but growing up saying, "Oh, I'm a daddy's girl," I have no idea what that is. I don't know what it is to have my father there when I hurt, or have my father be like, "Nah, he not the one." Even though when I showed up with my ex boyfriend to my father's house, my father was like, "Mia, I'm gonna call you. Mia, I'm gonna call you. I need to talk to you." And he was like, "Yeah, no, he not it." But in my mind, I'm like, "How you gonna tell me he not it when yeah, you weren't there?" So how do you know? Even though I mean I know a man knows a man, but you don't. You can't say he not it, even though he wasn't it, and I knew he wasn't it. But like, how you gonna tell me? Like, go. That's. But yeah, so I don't think some dads or some men know what an important role they play in a daughter's life. A son too, but I'm not a boy, so I can only speak for me. I don't think like I have a brother. My father and my stepmother had a son when I was 18. And I don't do I envy I guess I would say I healthily envy the relationship that my father and my brother have because I didn't grow up with that. I didn't grow up with my father coming to graduation, coming to prom, being at the football games when I was a cheerleader. Like I didn't have that. So when I hear them talk about the story or I see stories of them doing things together, I'm like, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for my brother because you need that. But I'm kind of like, man, I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know how that feels to be like, oh, that's my dad. Like, oh yeah, my dad is here. I don't know how that feels. So yeah, let me go back and read some of these comments. I think it's harder for the stepdads compared to stepmom just because of that nurturing side we have. Right. Like my stepfather, he was great, but it felt like to me it stopped at church. But my stepsister to me, this is my I have to say my own opinions because I don't want to cause any. It felt like she got more of the nurturing side of him than I did. I got more of the you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that and you know, so yeah. The love of your dad and you trying to find it exactly. Like you're looking for the love of a father inside somebody else and they please they mm-mm. I try to fill a void absolutely. Miss Mariah is just a whole nother level. I don't know. You absolutely try to fill a void that's unfillable with with someone that doesn't necessarily know how to care for your heart. That doesn't necessarily know how to protect your heart. They really just kind of just there in a sense. That's why we are called daddies. Absolutely. And I don't know how that feels. Even though now my dad and I talk more now than we talked when I was younger. So, but I think it's different at 45. Well, we started talking before I turned 45, but I'm saying I think it's different at 45 than it would have been at 12, at 5. Like he came over, but not like it wasn't every week. You know, I probably saw him maybe 2, 3 times a month, which it's not a lot. And then when my mother got married, we moved, and then he moved like maybe a half an hour. I think it was about a half an hour away. So, and then you do your own thing. I guess you get busy with life, and I don't know. Auntie, when I say you must have been a fly, really, Shay, I'm a fly no more. What happened? What happened? Let's talk about it. Queen, girl, these men are something else. They need to be in their sons' lives too because some men don't know how to father their kids. Oh, okay. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like I know that the first of all, I know that the fathers need to be in both the young men and the young girls' lives because they play an intricate part of helping to build who the children will become. Like I would say I don't know, I really don't know where I would be if it wasn't for my mom. Like if my mother wasn't the mother that she is, yeah, I couldn't tell you. Like that lady, I would move mountains for her. Like, there's nothing that she can't ask me for that I won't try to get for her. Like, I would spend my last on that lady. That's how much, I mean, she has been like my rock when I was about to be like out of here. I remember I got accepted to go to college in North Carolina. I was going to go to Johnson C. Smith, and I was when I told myself, I didn't even tell her. I told myself when I got accepted, I'm never coming back to New Jersey. I was never coming back ever. That's how over being hurt I was. And at that time I was 18. My mother, I was supposed to leave, I forgot what day. Like 2 weeks before I was supposed to leave, my mother got sick. So I had to postpone me leaving. And I tell her this story to this day. I said, I think you got sick, so I didn't leave. She said, Mia, I knew that if you left, you were never coming back. And I wouldn't see you. So I don't know if she got, I don't know if she got sick, or she got sick at the fact of knowing that I was never coming back. Needless to say, I didn't go away to school. I did school, but I did go to school. It's too late when you're grown and already right, Bethany. When you get grown, it's a little bit harder to try to, but I don't think it's impossible. It's just harder. And you walk, and you walk into life with a different level of confidence because of that love, the coverage, that bond. Nobody can play in your face. The closest thing to God's love I've ever experienced. That is so awesome, Chelsea. Like, I I absolutely love to see a father-daughter bond. Like, to me, it's no uh greater special bond. Like, I love to see it. And I'm excited and happy for others, even though I may not have had that bond, but I'm happy for others that have it. Yeah, got me fired up. We're about to have some coffee talk about. I would, yes, I want to see your coffee talk too. I'm trying to read the comments. I know what you mean, Queen. My husband had, um, really, same. I'm always how we grow up with such major impact on. Right, it does, and I don't think people realize the damage they can do until it's too. Absolutely. Like, I remember my husband was like, if he said something about maybe because his father left when he was 10. I don't want to tell his story. He can tell his own story. But I believe he was 10 when his father and his mother split. So it is like our stories are similar, but his feeling about it is different. It's from a man's point of view. It's almost like, I didn't have my father here to teach me how to do this and teach me how to fix that or teach me. And my thing is, I didn't have my father here to show me what love really, should be and how it should feel. So when we have our talks, it's actually really interesting to hear the two different opinions on the same situation. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to read your comments. I stopped there. What? Up there because my daughter went. Right. Yes, I miss my dad so much. I'm quite Queen. I love to hear the stories that you tell about you and your father. I think that is absolutely amazing because, to be honest, a lot of my cousins didn't grow up with their father. So it's almost, it's a little one-sided. Like, it's kind of one-sided because a lot of them unfortunately weren't there. I probably have a handful of cousins that I talked to that grew up with their dad. My mother experienced. Okay, let me go back because I want to know what. Mariah, why you got a crying face? When people say marriage is two different cultures coming together, it can be so true, and that in itself can be a hard role to navigate sometimes. Absolutely. That was my biggest reason for saying I never wanted to date or marry anybody with kids. I never wanted to have to endure being a stepmom, and I never wanted my children to have to endure, and I didn't want to have kids and not be married because I never wanted my children to have to endure being stepkids. Like, and it may have been different for my kids. I don't know. I just knew that I never wanted to have to put them through that. I was like, yeah, we're not going to do that. That's how I felt with my dad. He raised his stepdaughter way better than me. Tried to explain to him, but he didn't understand. And the funny thing is, I never expressed, or I never found a way to be able to express to my dad. And if he sees the live, hi, Dad. I never found a way to be able to express to my dad how I felt watching him raise my brother, watching him be there for my brother, watching him nurture and care for my brother. It was almost like I was watching, like I was on the outside watching another family, because that's that's how it was. Like, we just had dinner with them last night. My brother and his wife came up from, I think they moved to Kentucky, so they came up last night. But we all had dinner, and it was the best dinner ever. Like, my little brother is he's awesome. But to the experiences that they have together, the bond that they have, well, I mean, it's going to be different anyway because it's father son. But I'm just saying the mere fact that they have experiences that I would never know about. Like, they have things that they can laugh and joke about, or inside jokes that I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm so you kind of feel like you don't fit in, even though the same blood runs through me that runs through them. It's kind of like a disconnect because I don't know that emotion. I don't know that feeling. I just know, I know what it feels like to be left out. And and the same thing with my brother. He doesn't know that emotion because he's had both of his parents, which I love for him. I'm happy about that. So he doesn't know how that feels to be left out, and I'm glad he doesn't know that, because nobody, if you can help it, I don't think nobody should have to be able to experience that. So yeah, what time is? Oh my, it's not a okay. It's almost 9:30. It's a school night. I did not plan on being here this long. I really didn't. I told myself 1 hour and that was it. But it's almost an hour and 45 minutes. Oh, thank you, Chelsea. I'm glad that you all came on. No, it really wasn't. First of all, I never ever planned on telling this story ever. I was just gonna talk about dating, who I dated, and what I would tell my younger self. Um, but it feels good to have had um, a chance to let that out. I don't think I ever would have told that under any other circumstance. But yeah, I told it. It's yeah. But I thank you all so much for joining tonight's live. I thank you for your feedback. I thank you for your comments. Um, Absolutely, God had definitely had different plans. And I'm so glad that I allowed His plan to lead and guide my life, because I could have been somewhere else doing God knows what. Yes, I'm a stepchild and a stepmother, so I understand. But thankfully, my stepmom was amazing, and I think I did good being a stepmom, even though she was a difficult child. I am quite sure, like, I believe that it is hard for step parents. I would never say that that's an easy road to go down. Um, Amber, I'm glad you loved it. I loved it too. I feel like I just had a whole therapy session almost ugly, cried and all, but I kept it together. I kept my gangster. I'm not gangster at all, but I held it together. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us. This was great. Love this, even though I was late. Oh, you wasn't that late, Shay, but I'm glad you all came. But I'm quite sure that it's not easy being step parents. So I salute every step parent because I'm quite sure that it's not easy. But you know, I'm quite sure that it is possible to be done and to be done right. So I thank you all so much for coming. I thank you all so much for staying. I hope you have, or I hope you had a great day, and I hope you have an even better evening. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys. Now I have to figure out how to turn this off up there.